All right, the first question I have for you is, what is your origin story and what originally got you into fighting?
What's an origin story?
Like, where did you come from? Like, what made you start fighting?
Well, my dad was a fighter and a wrestler. He wrestled at Penn State. And so I just kind of grew up around it. And I wrestled all through high school and college. And then after college, I started doing jiu-jitsu. And then pretty shortly after that, I started fighting. I took my first fight.
Daddy.
Your biggest win against Nick Maximov was super impressive. And you said in the post-conference that you were pretty confident that you would get the first round finish. What made you so confident in that?
We watched a lot of film. Like, I had been watching him for a little while, and I saw some of the habits and tendencies he had when it came to shooting. And I just knew that it was only a matter of time before I was going to get a front headlock. Here, 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, totally fine.
Come on. Can you give Daddy 2 minutes? Can you give Daddy just 2 minutes? And then I'll come in and help you. Which one?
It's all good.
So just kind of grew up around a wrestling and fighting family. And, I was always a fan. And my dad had some fighting experience, a couple boxing matches, ran a karate studio. So we were always watching back in the day, like the WEC days. It was like Uriah Faber and Jens Pulver, and then the old school UFC days.
Mm-hmm. What's it like to be a father and a fighter? What kind of motivation does it bring you?
It's great. Obviously, I was a competitor. I was a fighter way before I ever had my daughter, but definitely just gives me more stability and more stability, more more structure and a more strict schedule rather than just being everything revolving around just going to practice and then the rest of your day is like kind of whatever. Now it's I got to be up at the same time every day and everything's structured, which I do well, and I do well with structure.
Are you excited to be fighting on such a big card next?
Yeah, I asked for this card. I kind of sacrificed a lot to be on this card. I've always wanted to fight on MSG. I had wrestled there in 2013, and I just always thought that it would be an incredible experience to go back and fight under those lights. I've watched, everyone, every big name fighter, every legend of boxing and MMA has fought there. Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, like everyone. MSG has so much history to it that it was an experience that I really wanted, and I'm super excited about the opportunity to get to be able to fight in this such a historic arena.
Mm-hmm. What's your game plan going into the fight?
We'll see. I think that it doesn't matter where it goes, honestly. I think that my stand-up is better than his. I think he's way more vulnerable on the feet. I think my wrestling – look, I'm here to prove – and I keep saying it, and I keep saying it over and over, like my grappling – I'm the best grappler in the middleweight division. Mm-hmm. And I said it before Maximov, and then I submitted Maximov as a plus 300 underdog. And then, I kept saying it. And then they gave me Eric Anders for Fury. I submitted him in a minute. So I'm just going to keep proving it. I'm just going to keep going out and proving it that I'm the best grappler in this division.
It's a good statement to make. How was it the first time meeting Brian Ortega?
Brian was awesome. Brian especially took care of me. He definitely, I felt like he went out of his way to help me through the whole process of being on The Ultimate Fighter. And, I've gone out and visited him in LA, and he's taking care of me every time I've gone out there. Like, has gone above and beyond. And I appreciate that. You know, I consider him a friend. I think he's a good guy, and he was awesome.
Can you talk anything more about like the Ultimate Fighter house? Was there anything that's surprising?
I think that there was just like, I think a lot of stuff that happened in the house was kind of left out. There were some cool scenes, and yeah, I think that people would have been interested in some of that stuff, but overall, it was a great experience. Like working with Henner every day, and Brian and Coach Paul was tremendous. It was a really worthwhile experience. Um, I would definitely. I don't know if I would do it again, but if I could go back, I would definitely do it again.
What's the process of applying to get on the Ultimate Fighter?
So, I had applied early, and it was right in the beginning of COVID. So they canceled it actually like a couple times. We were supposed to do it right before Thanksgiving, and no one could get the COVID test done because everything was booked. And so they pushed it back, and I just kind of thought it was never going to happen. And then I got the call saying, hey, like, they're ready to do it. And so I went out there, and there was 8 guys at each weight, but they brought out 11. So they brought out 22 guys, and we were out there for a week doing different medicals and all different interviews. And then at the end of that week, they chose 8 out of the 11. And so they sent 3 at each weight, 3 alternates at each weight home. Yeah. But, it wasn't as much like there weren't like tryouts, like physical tryouts, like in the past where, they have, guys hitting pads or guys grappling or whatever. It wasn't like that. They kind of knew what they wanted, I guess, personality wise or whatnot. And I guess it was just a matter of making sure everyone passed the medicals and whatnot.
What do you think's next for you after you're done fighting?
After what? After I'm done fighting?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. I always thought like I wanted to own my own gym and just run a gym, but
Coaching?
Yeah, and to be honest, I do kind of know why. I don't know why, but like that just doesn't really appeal to me anymore, to be honest. Like I would much rather like train a couple fighters and manage a couple fighters. I'd rather manage and train like a small group of guys than run a whole gym. Like I don't want to teach classes, like I would rather work one-on-one with guys that that I've been in the same shoes as them at one point and help them through the process. And I think that I can do a lot on the back end, with matchmaking and sponsorships. I have a lot to offer for these fighters, and that kind of appeals to me more right now than, running classes and marketing a gym. It just, that just doesn't, right now, it just seems tedious.
Yeah, I get it. You want to be one-on-one with the fighters and grow with them?
Absolutely.
What's your favorite thing to do outside of fighting?
Man, I like going to different places to eat. Honestly, there's a lot of good restaurants in Jersey, and even Philly has some good spots. I like going and seeing new restaurants, but aside from that, like I really just like spending time with my daughter. Like we have a blast. This is like my favorite age. She's 3 now, so just have like a lot of fun. Like we'll go to Dave and Buster's and do like shit that like, I'm not gonna say like I never did. I just didn't do I felt like I didn't do enough of as a kid. Yeah. And so I get to kind of do it through her now. We have a good time.
That's sweet. Do you do any special things in training camp that would be unorthodox to the casual fighter?
I guess just like I'm big into like gymnastics, and and weightlifting. So like that, I think that is one thing that I do more than everyone else. And as of recently, we've really gotten into cycling. So we'll bike like 30, 32 miles. I have like a small group of guys on my team that we go with. Sean Brady and Jonathan Webb and Eddie Torres, we've all gone out quite a few times, but yeah, lately it's been biking. We'll do like these 30 bike rides, 40-mile bike rides. So
How long
I
does that
just
take
think
you?
like it's about 2 hours. Like 32 miles is about 2 hours. So it's not like a crazy pace. You will hit some like a few hills that are challenging, but it's enjoyable, it's not like
Yeah.
that bad. But I just think it's like building that base, that cardiovascular base. And then when you get to the end of camp and you start really doing your sprints and your interval training, it's like a good base to build off of. And I think that like when you create hobbies that are endurance based, it'll definitely help you in this sport for sure.
Mhm. What diet are you on around fight time?
So I have a meal prep sponsor. They're called Performance Meal Prep. They're located out of South Jersey and Philly, and they're tremendous, man. They do everything is homemade. Like they're making the ingredients themselves. A lot of these other meal prep sponsors that I've had before, even like the Eat Clean Bro, or like a lot of these other ones, like they're like microwaved eggs, and you can tell it's very mass produced food. Whereas the Performance Meal Prep, his name's Jesse Bad. He's he's a chef. He's a professional chef. So he's there with the big pot, mixing the ingredients and doing everything homemade. So, that for me, like that makes a huge difference. Like I know that they're not using any preservatives or chemicals, because like I get one of my favorite meals is it's rosemary chicken, lemon and rice, and broccoli. And I can tell like by the end of the week, like the broccoli starts turning, like it'll start going bad by the end of the week. And that's how I know, like, look, there's no preservatives on this food. Like, I know that I'm getting all natural good shit. And that's what I want. I want my broccoli to start going bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely check them out if you're in the area.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely tag them. I was around there. I just got back from New York, but I live in San Diego.
Okay.
In your pro career, you've never gone to decision. It's always been by finish, knockout, or submission. What can you attribute that to?
Yeah. I'm a greedy fighter, man. Like I'm always thinking about the third check. Like I want that bonus every time. And I don't care, like even in practice, honestly, like when most guys are good with securing top position and just finishing the round on top and winning that round, like, dude, I want that finish. Like I know what these finishes do for you, and getting that finish when you could just, play it safe and stay on top, like getting that finish is where the extra money comes, like when you better believe that 100% we're going to bring up the fact that, I'm 3-0 or 4-0 with 4 finishes, and that shit matters. That's what the UFC wants to see. That's the whole point I got into fighting. That's the point of martial arts, is to be able to finish an opponent.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I love that mentality.
So I think it's, to answer your question, it's a mindset, 1,000%.
Mm-hmm. All right. For my last segment, I want to give you 2 matchups, and then I want you to tell me who you think is going to win. Islam versus Charles.
That's a really tough one. So, first of all, I don't think Islam is Khabib. I think they're hyping Islam up to be a lot like Khabib. And when I watch Islam fight, his head position, I see his head position gets in bad positions, where Khabib was always under the chin. He always had good head position. And I see Islam sometimes in bad positions. And I think that I 100% could see Islam putting his head in the wrong spot and Oliveira wrapping it up. But I've also seen Oliveira get beat up on the ground. Paul Felder.
Roundabout.
Like I've
Yeah, I was gonna
I've seen
say.
other guys beat Oliveira up off his back, and that is Islam's MO to a T. That's where he's gonna take the fight. So I don't see it going to a decision at all. Someone's gonna get a finish. But as of now, I'm leaning more towards Oliveira. Sorry.
Oliveira.
Yeah.
And then the next one is Dustin versus.
I just think that versus Chandler. You said Dustin versus Chandler?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take Poirier here all day. I think that Poirier's boxing is better. I think that, I think Poirier is really good at weathering the storm in the first round, and I think that's when Chandler's most dangerous. And I just don't see Chandler going out there and wrestling. And I think that that's his path to victory against Poirier, and I don't see him doing that. I think he's going to try to trade and get a knockout against Poirier, and I don't really see that happening.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
See you, bud.
See ya.